All right, Bosh, run.
Oh, we're on.
the next podcast. He's fiddling and farting about, so I've surprised him.
Shit,
and we're bang on. So today we're at home, New School Brixton, with my mate and new blue belt, master of the, well, I was gonna say master of the flow, but rope flow more. If you've seen any of the videos of me doing rope, this is the motherfucker that showed me it.
Yes.
Jerome, thanks a lot for doing this, mate. Jerome Marshall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So thank, as I say, for doing this, mate. Tell us firstly, before we get to anything, because I want to talk loads about the rope flow and jiu-jitsu and everything, but new blue belt, bro, tell me.
How does it feel to be a blue belt now?
Don't start crying on my podcast, bro.
No, you know what? In all honesty, I think if I were to have received my blue belt when I wanted it, I wouldn't have appreciated it. So now that I've received it in this moment in time, it's, how can I describe this? It's kind of come with no attachment, but in a good way, you know? I'm not like...
It sounds very much like you're about to go home and throw away all your possessions and be one of them fucking weirdos that, you know, like the earth's flat and
No, but in a sense of like, I think right now I appreciate it, and it marks a step in my journey, and I'm just excited to go forwards, compete as a blue belt. And yeah, man, I'm ready.
Nice, very good. So I want to get into your whole martial arts journey and stuff. I also want to come back to conspiracy theories, because I ask people sometimes, just throw them a curveball, and I'd like you, because you're a free thinker. So I want to ask your opinions about grids in the sky and all kinds of shit. But take us back a bit, mate. So like, obviously, I know you through jiu-jitsu. Recently, you started doing some of the rope flow stuff. Where are you from originally? Are you a Brixton guy?
No, so I grew up in Croydon, actually.
Okay.
Grew up in Croydon.
And how old are you? You're going to break my heart. You're younger than me, aren't you? How old are you?
29 next month.
29 next month.
12th of January.
Kid, bro.
Yes.
Joker. Say you're like 37 or something, just for the sake of the pod, mate.
So, grew up in Croydon. I think it's just natural that I'm going to kind of get into sport and fitness. So I grew up in Croydon, and when I was in school, I was into like basketball.
Okay.
So I used to be like a point guard and play forward, get the rebounds, and I had the hoops, the leaps, should I say. I could jump for the ball.
Can you dunk?
You know what? I was always a bit scared. I could touch the rim, but I was always a bit scared to attempt it because I thought...
You could touch the rim, yeah?
Then I guess athletics, specifically 100 meters and relay, was like my thing.
Well, now I've got to ask you best time, bro. What was your best time 100 meters?
I'll be honest, I don't even know. But I'm gonna guess. Wait, if I was a youngin back then, Usain Bolt does what? 10?
I think his best time is 9.58. I think someone might correct me.
9.58. So I'm gonna guess maybe mine was 10 something, I don't know.
Like 10 plus 3 seconds or something. That's ambitious, bro.
10 something.
Do you know why? Because I always fancy myself as fast in running, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm fast, but there's levels to this. I wasn't a sprinter or anything like that. I was just fast, you know.
Yeah.
And I was in a gym once in Canary Wharf, and one of the guys was like, I used to run for the county, and did all this shit. And I'm like, whatever, man. You're fast, but I'm here now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so we did like a little running race outside, and after about 5 yards, I was like, I'm not that fast. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's levels to this. But anyway, so yeah, you're into athletics and whatnot.
So yeah, just kind of growing up, I was like very into the sport as a kid and in college. But when I got to college, I realized I wanted to do the whole personal training thing. And obviously I went on to study personal training at Carl Shelton College. And I worked in a few different gyms. And for me personally, I started off with the whole bodybuilding, big arms, always training biceps. Always training biceps and whatnot. Then over time, I kind of just got obsessed with skipping. You know, I got introduced to boxing, and I signed up to a white collar fight. Then I kind of...
I didn't know this. You was a white...
Yeah,
where
white
was this?
Boxing.
Where?
I'd done the fight in Carl Shelton.
When was this? What time frame? How old are you?
Probably about 23.
Oh, so a while ago.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
A long time ago. So in the midst of preparing for that fight, I was obviously jumping rope, and I got super hooked. I was like obsessed, always skipping. And that kind of stayed with me. Then I guess that kind of, in a way, gave birth to martial arts in a way, because I started to use my rope in a martial arts inspired way. And I saw that one guy would use it, but his inspiration would come from nunchucks. And I guess that kind of opened up a whole new world for me in terms of exploring my tool from a martial arts approach. And how can I say, lockdown is when I came across rope flow. there was a girl in the park. She had this rope that's obviously not your typical jump rope, and she was using it in weird ways. And I was like, "What the hell are you doing?"
What's the girl look like? Let's be honest. Why you was looking at this girl with the rope? Don't tell me about ropes, bro. What's the girl look like?
No. She wasn't.
Okay. You was looking at the rope for real. Looking at the rope, right? Okay.
So So I approached her, and she told me to check out Way of the Rope. Shout out Tim Sheath. Shout out Way of the Rope. So I looked into that. Bought the course, the rope flow course. Learned by myself, and just took it and just ran with it. And I want to touch more on it over the course of this.
I got you. Very good. So take us to, like you said, the white collar bar. How'd that go?
You know what? I actually done it because I didn't feel confident. I wanted to just be in the presence of like so many people. So I kind of done it for like building some confidence and overcoming that. Came out of a win, so that was good. But actually, let me tell you one more thing. I actually would have had 2 fights. The first event I signed up to, my opponent actually failed their blood pressure test, and I couldn't fight. So then I signed up to another one.
Scared, homie. That's what it was.
Signed up to the next one, and dominated.
That's cool, man. And what weight did you do?
Wait, I don't even know. I think they just kind of compare.
Just kind of
it
weigh you in, Because what do you weigh naturally, like training?
76.
I got you. Yeah. So because was this UWC? Was this one of them?
Yeah.
Because I know them. I helped train one of my friends who did one of them a while ago, and they're good. They run well, aren't they? They're funny. There's some characters on there. But it's funny you say about blood pressure. My friend had trouble with his blood pressure, and they weren't going to let him fight, but he was the highest. Like you have to raise money. He raised the most money, so they were like. Go for it.
I didn't.
They can't drop him out. You know what I mean? Go for it. But it was a good night. It was a fun time. But like from there, that was obviously before you did jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
What got you into jiu-jitsu?
2022.
And sorry to cut you off. Did you start with New School? Was you a New School?
No, I started with New School. Yeah. So 2022, I actually signed up to Ultra MMA.
Oh, so going for it properly now. Now we're getting serious.
And obviously, then I was doing the Muay Thai at Miguel's gym. I was doing the Muay Thai there. And I was like, cool, I need to learn some jiu-jitsu. I was quite well connected to like street gym and whatnot, so I'd see that they posted jiu-jitsu, and obviously it kind of had my interest. And I was like, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I wanted to try it, but I was like, it might not be around for a while. It might just be a quick little few classes at street gym, and the guy, whoever's leading it, he's probably gonna cut or, that's kind of how I got into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, shout out street gym. That's where we met, obviously, back in the day. It feels, some things about street gym feels like not very long ago, but then at the same time we're here, right, in the new place, and it just feels like a long time ago in a lot of other ways. But so when you started jiu-jitsu, did you end up doing the MMA bout, by the way?
No. So I actually didn't go ahead with the fight simply because like the training ground was too far. It was in Bethnal Green, and I was starting a new job at the same time.
Which is a motherfucker of a journey, by the way, if anyone doesn't know.
So, and I dropped Muay Thai for jiu-jitsu. I was like...
Shout out to all the Muay Thai guys who heard that first.
I went to a few sessions.
Gi or no gi?
No gi. And...
Was this like fresh in the game, so you like turn up like the kid who's forgot his PE kit? And just like,
pretty much. I came in with my, I guess, ego self. Thought I was that guy. I was moving all athletic. These times I'm tiring myself out. I don't know nothing. And I just got humbled, man. So I think those humbling experience kind of made me want to come back. And I was like, yo, I kind of like, there's an element of respect here and community and stuff like that. So I kind of stuck with it. Yeah, that's a whole journey that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. So when you got in, obviously like Reese, shout out Reese Bailey's coming back on here.
Yes.
Just got his black belt, so it's all good in the hood, as they say. But like when you started, did you obviously you bought a gi eventually? I've seen you in a gi. What was that like? Was that like a dirty thing at the start, or was you like, nah, fuck it, I'm in now?
No, I was pretty open to it. I remember the moment I got my gi, I went home. Yeah, I took pictures, videos. I thought
I was like that. Yeah, it was like on the Tinder profile and all that, like in your gi. Yeah, I got you.
I was enjoying it, man.
Getting on the train
I wanted everyone to know I had the gi on, my white belt.
Hi, I'm Jerome. I do jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I know the type. I know the people.
Yeah. But yeah, I just embraced the whole gi journey. I think when I kind of started the gi journey, Nogi was like, yeah, let's put that to the side.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You're one of them? One of them too? But was you an MMA fan before? Like, you doing all these boxing
Funny
matches
enough,
and whatever?
no.
Are you now?
I want to watch the sport actually, but I never actually sat down and followed MMA
got
I never like followed any athletes or fighters.
No boxing, no nothing?
Nothing.
Man.
No.
Well, don't answer yet, but I'm going to ask you at the end what football team you support. You better have the fucking right answer, bro. We'll test that blue bit out for you.
Don't worry, I've got a good answer.
But, so if you go back to like when because what came first, jiu-jitsu or rope flow?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to say rope flow.
But it was similar time, I'm assuming, from what you're saying, right?
Similar time.
So take us through that journey, man. Like you said, you'll come back to that and we'll get into the journey. Tell us about rope flow.
Rope flow. Boy, rope flow. I think, so based on the stage I'm at now with rope flow and how I see it, it just does wonders for the spine, the shoulders, the wrists. But beyond how it looks on the physical, it does wonders for our mental. And once you kind of pass the stage of seeing it for mobility, you kind of just see it as an expression, you see it as, or you experience it as like a flow state, you know? And it's one of those ones where I feel like I'm gonna be the messenger in South London to tell everyone about rope flow.
Well, I'm on the firm now too, so I'm like...
You've tried it, and it's like, because I've been doing it for what, 4 years now? Yeah, I definitely started rope flow before jiu-jitsu. So I've been doing it for 4 years now, so that would make me, what, like a purple belt in rope flow?
Well, I mean, I've been doing it 4 days now, so I'm probably due a stripe anytime now, right?
So, what are we saying? So, yeah, I mean, don't worry, I'll give you a stretch.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm 4 days, bro. Hey, I'm putting that work in. I've been outside like the neighbours looking at me like I'm fucking stupid, you know what I mean? Because it's hit me in the head a few times. We'll talk about that another time.
So, even like touching on that, it teaches you to kind of embrace the journey, be patient with yourself. It highlights the imbalances as well as like the need to coordinate, and I'm sure you can touch on it as well. But yeah, it's a humbling journey for sure.
Well, the reason I like it a lot as well is obviously all the benefits you're talking about, and I feel it, and I feel like even as I say 4 days, it literally, I feel like I'm getting better daily with it, which is nice because it's a skill. But also the thing I like, it's not taxing on the body. It doesn't take away from anything else I do. So I can go and do that, and it doesn't hurt me for doing whatever. Do you know what I mean? So you can obviously easily add that in. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's more, you tell me, I feel like it's more one of them things you practice. It's not so much training. Do you see where I'm coming from?
It's definitely like a skill that you need to hone in on for like a duration of time, because you'll have like the very fundamental patterns, like doing an overhand, an underhand, a dragon roll. Then you're gonna kind of fine tune these things, and you're gonna start to pay attention to how the wrist moves, then the shoulders and the whole spine. Then you start to find ways that this kind of refers back to maybe a sport that you take part in, or just how it helps just daily life. And even like training in the gym with the use of the kettlebells, if you're familiar with like coiling and stuff, there's a lot of carryover, even in like martial arts weapons. Because I felt like with the rope flow, I hit like there's a period where I hit like a plateau, and I was like, let me try something different. So I invested in the nunchucks. Then when I started to use the nunchucks now, I was like, wow, this is very similar to rope flow. The only difference with nunchucks is now we've removed the spine, we've removed the shoulders, and now we just have this figure of 8 pattern in the wrist, you know. Boom, next thing I done was I bought a staff, bow staff.
Oh, you got full crazy.
I went crazy, I'm still going crazy.
You bought guns yet or no?
No, I'll get a katana one day,
Oh wow, you want it, okay. Because you know the next step's getting like a Range Rover and a shotgun, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Like, where we going with this, bro? I mean, you need to chill out over there.
Yeah. So, yeah, like all of it is just pretty much similar in the way that you approach the practice, use these tools. It's all very similar. So I suggest to anyone who wants to like explore mobility, improve their mobility in the wrist, the shoulders and spine, consider rope flow because it's a loose tool. Something like a staff may be, how could I say, I won't say it's demanding, but it requires a lot more focus, and yeah, it's quite
you have to adapt your body more around it?
Yeah,
'Cause obviously the
yeah,
stuff can
yeah.
just, it's solid, isn't it? Whereas
Yeah,
the rope
it's
flow,
solid.
and that's why I like the rope flow, because like there's weighted ropes as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And when you gave me that one, you went, nah, that want to do you.
Yeah,
So, you know
yeah.
what I mean? That little light want to do you, Ollie. Do you know what I mean? So like, but with you floating around, there's like, you feel it, don't you? There's like bounces, and I felt like at times where I'm like, I'm doing it and I feel like that's good, but it's too fast, and I have to stop it and chill and whatever, right? And then I started playing around with like stepping as I'm doing it, and then stepping backwards, and just little things, because as I said to you beforehand, I've kind of, with the moves you showed me, I've kind of practiced them, and I thought initially I'll research different, and I thought, nah, fuck that. When I check back in with you, we'll find new moves. For now, I'm going to just kind of play with them and practice and move around. But I feel like I've seen you flow around on the floor and stuff as well, like you're into the whole movement game, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? Shout out to LJ.
LJ, guest of the show, shout out LJ.
He plays a big part in my interest for doing, I guess, ground-based movement. And this actually goes back before jiu-jitsu, because again, lockdown period, a lot happened in lockdown. Lockdown period, I actually met LJ at Brockwell Park, and he was leading the class.
This before jiu-jitsu?
This was before jiu-jitsu, yeah. And he was leading like a boxing session, as well as, I think we touched on animal flow as well. So he's obviously quite known for like animal flow. So seeing him like move and create all these shapes on the ground, I was like, yo, I want to learn this. So yeah, I got into all of that, or had an interest in that style of movement before jiu-jitsu. Right. Then when jiu-jitsu came around, I was like, okay, this makes sense. I see the connection with the animal flow and the capoeira and this and that, and it all just merges together. You know?
Because like I can relate to that. Like I was doing some of the movement stuff before I did jiu-jitsu. I boxed before that, so it's a little bit different. But when I was doing like Ido Portal style and stuff like that, and then I started doing that, and I was into some of that. I don't say animal flow, but like, you know, crawling on the floor, locomotion stuff that he teaches, and it helps, man. You know what I mean? You're just a more fluid kind of. You see things a bit different, don't you? And I feel like it helps in certain ways. You just got to be aware of it, because like. I probably went through a period of getting pretty good as a white belt. But then thinking I'm like doing the movement stuff, and you got to still go like park that. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. And I feel like in today's day and age, I think more people are opening their eyes up to the idea of locomotion and wanting to move more with efficiency, and because a lot of people are doing these crappy jobs. They're just sitting at the desk all day, and I guess lockdown has contributed to that quite a bit, because a lot of us are working from home and stuff like that. So I think people are starting to wake up and realize that, snap, I'm getting older and this life is getting a bit crazy, so I need to move my body as well. So I feel like jiu-jitsu, when I speak to people about it as well, I always tell them there's a lot of functionality that you can take from it. Like even just getting off the ground, like, you know, just little things like that. Or even, how many people out in the street know how to move on the ground? Very few people. So I'll tell you this, I'm like a walking jiu-jitsu, not even jiu-jitsu, I'm a walking like ground-based testimonial. Like I'm always at the gym, how I warm up is on the ground. So people will come up to me, they'll realize like, oh, what's this guy doing? And I told them I do jiu-jitsu, and be like, oh, where do you train? And
so you're spreading the message through
spreading
crawling, sniffing the floor in front of people. Yeah, I got you. I've seen weirdos like you before. No, but it's true. Like I go in gyms and stuff. Like I do handstands and things. I do stuff on the rings. There was a guy yesterday. I can't remember his name if this ever finds him, but he was like older guy. Do you know what I mean? He'd climbed a long time. I think he had some knee issues, and now he was doing more calisthenic stuff. And he was seeing me doing some stuff on the rings. And he was asking like, oh, what's this? Blah blah blah. And again, like I kind of answered him in a way where it was a bit like I related it back to jiu-jitsu. I didn't mean to, but I'm like, blah, 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 because of jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? I was like, he didn't really ask me that. You know what I mean? He was asking me about the fucking handstands.
What did he say? What was you doing?
So I was doing muscle ups to L-sit to shoulder stand on the ring, back to L-sit, muscle down, and doing reps. And he was asking me about how did you train, and I didn't have a great answer for him, so I tried to fill in the gaps. And I basically come to the answer of like, I learned how to do muscle ups with Ido Portal. I learned how to do the ring stuff with Ido Portal, but I didn't want to just go and check this, because it'd have been like, all right, whatever. So I was like, I said, well, I did bits and pieces, but to be honest, he was asking me specific of how do I get the L sit on the rings. I was like, to be honest, I just fuck around with it, you know, just be on the ring. Be on the rings was what I was trying to say. Like, if you want to be able to swim, jump in the pool first. You know what I'm saying? Get on there and do your thing. And I feel like mistakes I've made too is training too hard specifics. But sometimes just keep it playful, innit? Just like fuck around on the floor, flow about on the floor. Do all kinds of things, and that's why with the rope, it's not I mean, there is set things which you're teaching me. Like, what did you call it? The Matador was one. What was the other one?
Matador, Dragon Roll.
Dragon Roll, that's the one. But
yeah.
like, obviously that's the thing. But my arms are free. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't have to do anything to set. I can figure it out as I go. And I feel like you earn that smoothness over time.
Yeah,
versus like if you're bench pressing. Yeah. First of all, it don't give you no transfer to jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So to all the meatheads out there bench pressing, thinking they're doing the jiu-jitsu game, bro, chill. For sure, chill. Maybe you can bench press more than me. Woo. But you know what I'm saying? Like I don't like weights. I say that. I saw. See you later, chaps. Nice one. But they're like, I squat and stuff, and I do Olympic lifts and whatnot. But I don't really class that as lifting weights, even though it sounds a bit stupid. You know what I'm saying? I just class it as squatting with weight on versus like. And again, I do some sort of like bicep and tricep stuff, but more to look after the joints. Do you know what I'm saying? Not for bodybuilding's sake. I'm just fucking jacked anyway. But no, there's definitely something to that kind of rope flow. Yeah. It's like an efficiency thing is what I'm trying to get at. Like I'm not explaining it well, but there's like you find your like water through the rocks, isn't it? You'll find the way. And
for sure.
Me and you both keep sitting and doing this shit like a couple of weirdos. But it's I think it will really transfer. So as I say, I think it's 4 days since I see you. So we'll see how we go. I'd like to check in with you as we go, and like maybe we'll post some videos and shit of like before, after, and all that stuff, and see how it goes. But
there was something you mentioned actually, and this is funny enough something I struggle with. You mentioned the term like play. Yeah, you mentioned the term play, and you obviously made reference to the fact that you kind of have to just jump on the rings and kind of, I guess, explore. For me, sometimes I find that hard delivering that to people because I feel like a lot of people think there's this secret behind moving a particular way when really and truly you just need to just do it, just try it. You need to be in tune with your muscles and how they react when you hang on this or when you do this pattern or whatever. And I think a lot of people are trying to look for the secret sauce. You know, there's no secret sauce.
No, when I teach people, I try and give them teach them how to do things like, for example, a muscle up. Maybe teach them a handstand. Maybe teach them a this or that. And then they got to fill in the gaps a little bit themselves, which I think is important. You know what I mean? You can kind of dot it out for them, but they got to connect the dots. You know what I'm saying? Because if you teach it too much, firstly, it becomes a bit cult-like, doesn't it? And you get people like follow you a bit. And I've had experiences before where you're training people and they're like asking you questions all the time. They're texting you all the time. Like, chill, you know, like find it out yourself a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't got to train you 7 days a week forever to otherwise you're fucked. It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Whereas I keep bringing it back to the rope flow. I relate it to sort of like with the jiu-jitsu and the groundwork. There's a big element. It feels like anyway, playful stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Where you just like figure it out. Here you go. Here's the rope. Go and do what you got to do.
I feel like you have to, I guess, as a beginner, it's going to be hard to kind of identify this, but I think one of the main things I've realized this year is there's a major difference between movement and exercise.
Massive.
You know?
And training, exercise, movement, they're all different holes,
And I never would have considered that if I didn't come into, I guess, this movement space or rope flow space, because I would have probably classed them as the same. Whereas I see movement as just more free, like a squat, a lunge. These are all movements. And I guess loading these movements and giving it the name like barbell squat now is our exercise. So
it's interesting because I feel like, one thing I'm trying to change as well, like I think it's important to practice things. Do you know what I mean? Like not have to train all the time. Do you see what I mean? Like there's a time to spar hard and just have a tear up and just see what comes of it. But there's also a time to stand in front of the bag and work on the jab. Not worry about much else. Do you know what I mean? Bang. And do you know what I'm saying? Make it ripe. And I think that transfers with all things and whatnot. Sure. But with the rope flow, you said already you want to be like the South London voice. But like, what's the vision with the rope flow? Where do you want to do? Where do you want to take it in like 10 years?
Boy, that's a good question. In 10 years.
Or it doesn't have to be a time frame. Like, it could be a year, 10 years, whatever you want.
So my next step actually is for me to put together a very simple ebook. So that is going to consist of the basic rope flow fundamental patterns, and that will be like available for people to purchase along with a rope once I sort out like supplier and so forth. Next month, so in January, I've actually signed up to join like a coaching course. So Tim Sheaf will be basically delivering a coaching course, and those attending will obviously learn how to become rope flow coaches under Way of the Rope. So that will give us, I guess, the spotlight, because his platform, the Way of the Rope platform, is quite well known for rope flow.
And is that Tim Sheaf's thing himself?
Yeah.
And for anyone who doesn't know, Tim Sheaf is, I think he's a parkour world champion, right?
Yeah,
and he's done,
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, he's done all kinds of crazy stuff in terms of like, he's fasted for 30-something days.
Yeah.
Have you seen the videos of him and stuff doing it?
To be fair, I'll be honest, I don't know much about his past. I just knew him from rope flow.
I don't know a lot about him, but I've sort of seen bits and pieces he's done for years and years. And he's like, I remember he was doing a fast at one point. He was quite a fundamental vegan at one point. Now I know he went back to eating meat and all kinds of stuff. So he's an interesting cat, which I'd like to. I spoke to him actually briefly through Messenger on here, and we spoke about circling back in 6 months, and it's probably gone 6 months. So maybe we'll get him on here one day and talk about it. But he's obviously kind of created the whole Way of the Rope brand himself. Like, that is his brand. So with him, I guess he would be, what would be the right term? He's probably the most known within England for rope flow. So I think to be a part of his movement, the Way of the Rope movement, would be great. But of course, we have to shout out to Mr. David Weck, because he's the founder of this amazing rope flow practice. He also made Bosu balls.
I
followed him for a long time. I followed him for a long time. I followed him
yeah.
since probably just around lockdowns and stuff too. Yeah, so I've been into his stuff with
Yeah.
the pulses. I've never done it, but like
I haven't tried it either.
Kind of watched his stuff do it. But you know, maybe we'll lure Tim down and you can jiu-jitsu the fuck out of him and let him know who the dominant rope flow guy is. Tim, no, I'm just joking.
So even like David, I obviously came across Tim first, and I came across David.
Okay.
And when I came across David, I didn't know he was the founder of rope flow at the very start until people told me and whatnot. But when I came across him, I was like, I don't get this guy. I don't get him. And it took me a while. There's something I didn't get, but I was intrigued. And over time, I just started to follow his practice. And he spoke a lot about this coiling. Are you familiar with coiling?
Yeah. And the finger positions.
I still haven't looked into yet. But the coiling thing, that really had me fascinated, as well as head over foot. I don't know if you're familiar.
100%, yeah. Because I remember watching that was one of the things that got me into him a little bit. Was he was showing I think it was the 3 fastest men that have ever lived. That it was Usain Bolt, Tyson Gate, and Asafa Powell at the time. And he showed their like start. And if I'm butchering this, someone fill in the gaps. But it was something like he was showing their start as they took off, all 3 of them next to each other. And as they was like planting their foot, the head was over the foot, and then same the other side. And it was like a wiggle motion that he was showing. And I just thought it was interesting, because I never looked at it. I just assumed that you stayed straight, like Michael Johnson looking style. Do you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But yeah, that's kind of what one of the early ones I got into him.
So I started to kind of follow. That was one of the main things I kind of noticed. And similar to yourself, I used to think, oh, that's different. I thought we were very robotic. Then it kind of opened up the world to like this whole coiling thing, and without looking into it too much, I started to apply it in like my kettlebell training, and it kind of came naturally in rope flow as well. There was one more thing I was going to mention. Shit.
It's all right, no one's watching, bro. No one's waiting. No one's getting bored at home.
So coiling, head over foot, and there was one more thing. It will probably come to me in a sec, in relation to probably what David Weck teaches. It will come to me very soon.
We'll get there. We'll find it. We'll figure it out. But I'll tell you, one of the things that comes to mind with David Weck is he does some like crazy stuff with his neck as well. He's like pushing into the wall with his neck. I've seen him do. He wears like a heavy something around his neck as he's moving in certain positions. He does some mad stuff, and it's like, it's cool because the way he moves and like some of the stuff, I'm a bit like you, I've kind of fucked around with some of the things, and it just feels good on the body, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It's like there's like definitely something going on there. And as I say, he invented Bosu. So like if I didn't know that, to be honest, when I first started watching him, I just think he's a bit of a nut. You know what I'm saying? But he's not, because he's got that behind him. So he's obviously a real kind of, he's in the game. Do you know what I'm saying? And he's talking about, like, I'm going to butcher it, but he's talking about, like, as I said, with the hand positions, like how he puts his fingers in a certain way to create tension or whatever it is. And something with the positioning of the foot. It's all like very kind of out there and interesting, isn't it? But he's...
let's touch on that.
Okay.
Touch on the feet.
All right, cool. You're one of the foot guys. You're talking about, you're like a foot fetish guy, or what? Is that where this is going? Because this is...
I don't know.
See, he didn't say no, so I'm fucking even more concerned, bro. Help me.
let's talk. Yeah, let's talk barefoot.
Go.
Let's talk everything related.
Because me and
to
you
the
are both
body.
Vivo brothers. We've both been wandering about in Vivos for years.
Boom. Again, I think LJ actually played a big part in this as well.
LJ as well. Fuck, we might have to get LJ back on. I just did an episode with him. Bring LJ back in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how long you've been wearing barefoot, but I've been wearing them for I think maybe 3-4 years now.
I've been wearing them on and off for 12 years.
12 shit.
A long time, yeah.
So you're a black belt in this barefoot
Well,
stuff.
maybe. I might be like one of them black belts. You know one of them black belts that's on and off the mat and shows up and gets tapped by the purple belt? It's like one of them black belts in it. But I can tell you briefly, but like before how I got into them. I was working at Gym Box years ago, 2012. And in Farringdon, and at the time, the headquarters for Vivo, I believe, was around the corner. They certainly had an office, I think it was the head of. But they took us round there, all the PTs in the gym, they showed us like the barefoot. And I've been introduced to barefoot stuff before. I've had the Vibrams. Remember them goofy looking Vibram shoes that people used to wear? You look like a hobbit wearing them, you know what I mean? Like with the big feet. And they took us all in there and they showed us like the running and the barefoot running, gave us a big spiel for a couple of hours. Anyway, at the end of it, they gave us a pair of Vivos. And I loved them. I just wore them all the time, you know what I mean? And like other people who was wearing them, it was like complaining it was hurting their feet. I was only about 21 at the time, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, these feel great, you know? And I used to wear them a lot. And that kind of hooked me. I kind of wore them all the time then, and I've on and off. I've had a few injuries with them because I used to sprint on concrete, and I do all kinds. I used to backflip on concrete with them, and like land heavy. And it's not the Vivo's fault, but I probably did a bit too much in them. Do you know what I mean? And maybe not even the Vivos, but I dislocated my big toes doing wrestling and whatnot. Shit. So I had to sort of wear shoes. So I don't wear them all the time now, but I still wear them. When I was with you the other day, rope fly was in my Vivos. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I got into Vivos.
No, I remember when I first started wearing them as well. They were just, hurting my feet. And it took a while to kind of break into them. Then I thought I discovered everything that, okay, so a bad habit of mine, is sometimes I dehumanize people who are not doing what I'm doing.
Okay, explain that. Fucking hell, where's this guy, bro?
I'll be like, you see you guys, all you guys out there, you're not wearing barefoot. You guys are missing out, man. Like,
I thought you meant you was like getting a rope out and whipping people and like, no, okay, cool.
Obviously, I'm trying to break out of that, but yeah. So with the barefoot, I just feel like they're a game changer. I can't really, certain things you can't really explain. People just have to feel. And it's the same thing with the rope flow, the barefoot, moving on the ground-based movement. A lot of these things, I guess I'm going to kind of touch on Instagram. I want to use like my platform as a way to kind of convey that movement is free, it's available to everyone. You just got to apply yourself to it. You got to ask questions, you got to learn. And once you unlock one piece of the puzzle, whether it be moving your hips, then you start to understand that, cool, maybe I need to be grounded from the feet. Then maybe I need to like improve my spinal mobility, and maybe so all of these things, they start to connect. And I think over the years, people start to, if they apply themselves, they start to like complete themselves as a human,
Yeah. And are you a handstander? You into the handstand game?
I want to be. Maybe you can teach.
Maybe we'll have to have a knowledge exchange. I'll teach you handstands and you can teach me to whip that rope around. But yeah, so the reason I bring that up is when you're talking about the feet and how it relates up the chain. I've experienced that with hands too, because like obviously my hands from boxing took some punishment. So like I've got a few things that have hurt over the years, and I've noticed it doing handstands where it's like upstream, like the shoulder, not pain, but it's a bit iffy sometimes, and I have to work that out, and it all ties in. But as soon as you start going down that rabbit hole, bro, you can drive yourself fucking mental too. Because like as soon as something's not 100% perfect, I could be brushing my teeth in the morning, and like no one else would notice it, but like where I was sparring the day before or whatever, my jaw's a little bit tight on one side. Like something so insignificant don't really matter, but I'm like, I feel my jaw, and then like my shoulder, and like you gotta be careful because it can drive you fucking nuts. Do you know what I'm saying?
So I got a question for you actually. Knowing what you know now in terms of like the whole movement, exercise, if you had to start fresh, what would you do different?
I wouldn't train as hard, like in terms of like I'd train hard at the things that you're supposed to train hard at. So like if I'm boxing, sparring, or if I'm doing jiu-jitsu or whatever, when it's sparring time, that's time to train hard. But I'd go and train like on the rings, like as if I'm getting ready for a gymnastics comp. Then I'd go an Olympic lift like I'm getting ready for a fucking comp in that. Then I'd go and sprint like I'm training, and I'm just doing too much. Whereas I would treat like basically like I'm doing now is more bringing it back to like practicing a lot of things. Do you know what I mean? Like I was on the rings yesterday. I posted a video of it, but it's like I'm doing these things, and they look cool and whatever. But I'm not pushing myself to the limit with them. I'm just practicing the game, and I'm like, I was doing sets of muscle ups, for example, and like back in the day, I'd gone right 10, fucking hell, like, do you know what I mean? Psyching myself up like it matters, but I was doing 6 because it just, and the only reason I know 6 is because I watched the video back.
Yeah.
So the reason I say that is I did it to how it felt okay. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That felt good. Another one. That felt good.
Yeah.
Another one. I posted a video as well, so if anyone sees it, I look a bit nuts. I've got my eyes closed in the video because I'm just kind of like, I'm just trying to feel it. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm doing things like that. And also with jiu-jitsu, like at times, I would train 2 times in a day and then I'm thinking I'm done. I'm finished. And then I'll go, there's an evening session, someone will text me, go, you training tonight? And I know I shouldn't. And I'll go, I could get through that. Do you know what I mean? I could push myself to get through it. So I turn up, get nothing from the session because I'm fucked. I'm not listening. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like getting through it. And then you go home, you got a sore elbow. So I'd cut all that shit out. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm really trying to be, even now still, I'm still trying to be conscious of doing what my body needs to get better for what I want it to. Like, I'll give you an example today. I got my face cranked a little bit in sparring, and I'm not injured from it, but I can feel my jaws a bit sore. So I did like, I don't know, it's called a jaws exercise. I don't know if you've seen them. You put them in your mouth and you kind of chew on them. Have you seen these things? They're like a jaw trainer. So I put that in my mouth and I'm just like doing a bit of jaw training with that. Whereas again, back in the day, when I got it, I would have been like, right, fucking hell, 10 sets of 1,000,000 reps. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas today, I just put it in my mouth and like chewing on it while I'm watching, or I was listening to a podcast actually, but only listen to this podcast, guys, fuck me. But I'm chewing on it and just kind of like zoning out. And when it felt time to take it out, it's got like a thing, it goes around your neck and it goes through the middle of it. So when you drop it, it just falls and you can keep it and then put it back in there, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I was using that as an example. And then other times I'll go and practice with the handstand, but I'll try and practice the handstand versus how long can I possibly stand on my fucking hands and now I'm sore and then I go to jiu-jitsu and my elbows hurt. Do you know what I'm saying? Like just sort of treat the whole, everything I do as like a practice versus training. That's what I'll massively change, and that's what I'd really stress to beginners too. Like a lot of beginners that turn up to my classes in jiu-jitsu that want to train all the time, I'm like, settle. Like how much should I train? What should I do? And to me it's like, if you're not sure, and this might be controversial, people that disagree with this, and I'm not talking about a fight camp, like lead up, like in 6 weeks lead up to a fight. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about learning. Like if you're unsure whether to go to a session, I'm not talking about being lazy either. If you're lazy, force yourself to go. But if you're someone like me or you, that we're not lazy, we'll go. Do you know what I'm saying? It's the other way. You've got to calm it down. I would say to people like, if you're unsure whether to go to an extra session, leave it. Don't. Do you know what I mean? Go home and chill. And what I've found when I do that, I plan to go to that session anyway, so I've got free time or whatever, and my mind thinks about it anyway, and I think I'll probably get more out of that because I'm thinking about things to do. And another thing, John Danaher said once about like how a lot of your training should be with people you're better than, and it's not about bullying people, but I'll pick sessions, like if I'm tired but I want to train, I'll go to the gym and I'll sort of try and angle my way, and this is not me patting my back on like I'm this and whatever, but like I'll sort of try and pick a partner that's sort of that blue belt level. Do you know what I'm saying? Where they're like, you know, they're good enough to give you a problem, and it's like if you get caught slipping, they'll take your arm. But at the same time, I should be at a level where it's like, if I need to, I can get myself out of trouble and I can practice in a live sense. Does that make sense? Rather than pick a big, heavy 100-kilo black belt to have a tear up with, which there is a time and a place for. But that's like my sparring. I spoke about this before on a different podcast. Shout out to the Ronin, had me on his podcast. And it was like, when I try and spar now, like back in the day, I'd turn up to open mat. And it's like, you know, it's like open mat. I'll be here for 2 hours and I'm just loving life. I'm like, just everyone wants to spar. But if I'm sparring over 2 hours, I might spar, I don't know how many rounds that is. That's like 15 to 20 rounds. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe more because I'm not timing it. But let's just say 15 rounds. The pace I can do 15 rounds at, I can't keep the same pace I could for free. So when I'm sparring now and I'm making a conscious effort to spar hard, I'll like go 3 rounds. Partners that I know is going to be hard rounds. You know what I'm saying? And I'll try and really, that's not the only rounds I'll do necessarily. But then after that, I might kind of like let someone have my back. Do you know what I'm saying? I'll put myself in a position. I'm still sparring, but I'm not sparring like pedal to the metal. Like I've got to win this round. Like when I say them 3 rounds, I got to win them 3 rounds. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that you always do, of course. People are good and whatever. I'm not saying I'm not trying to pat me like say I'm like if I want to win a round, boys, I'll win the fucking round. But you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm winning that round, I'm trying to win the round. Like, for example, Reese just got his black belt. I've known me and Reese were white belts together at the same time. You know what I mean? So like if me and him spar, I'll try. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I'm trying to win that fucking round. Versus other times it'll be like, right, I've done my hard sparring. Now I'll spar, but I'll spar for me now. Does that make sense? Versus try and have to win and whatever. And this is something that I've kind of had in my mind for years, really. But like, you don't do it because I'll turn up to open mat and be right, cool, 15 rounds. Let's just go as hard as I can for 15 rounds. All that kind of stuff is the stuff I'm trying to get away from now. For the reason being of improvement. I just feel like you need to train to improve. And it's like, I'm 34 now. I don't feel old in any way, shape or form, but I've been in martial arts for all my adult life, really, right? So it's like, I've got niggles and injuries that and it's not niggles and injuries that stick around forever, but it's more like if I don't take care of it, like, you know, it's like yourself. If you're training, I mean, an average week, I'm probably training. When I say training, I mean training. I practice every day and much more often, but real training sessions probably between 6 and 10 times a week, hard, right? So if you're doing that, and you're not aware of it, the niggles add up, man. You know what I mean? Like your foot's sore, and it's not an injury, but it's tight. And then over 3-4 days of just ignoring it, it's a fucking problem now. Do you know what I mean? So all that kind of stuff is what I'm trying to settle down with, and try and make when I train, the clue's in the name. Do you know what I mean? I'm training for a purpose. I'm not just showing up and having a tear up. You see what I mean? So that's a big thing I'd come round for.
That's a good point, because I think Reese would also tell me I need to find an objective for like when I'm coming to class, as opposed to kind of just going with the flow type of thing. Because
but I also think there's a time for that too. Like when I say about like 15, 20 rounds on an open mat, I do think there's a time for that too. But just kind of throw yourself into it and have the feeling. Like a lot of the times, the biggest thing for me is it's an ego thing. Of course it is. You know, like you come in and you're like, well, I should beat you. So I'm gonna. But why? Just like let's pick someone that they're good, for example, I don't know, they're really good on the back. Don't have your fucking back. Do you know what I mean? Don't spend my time fighting to not let them have my back. Which you would in like a spar, as an example I gave to like Reese. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because he's at such a level where it's like, right, I'm sparring because I want to fucking, I want to win this round. Whereas if you can let someone who's good on the back, the rest of the game might not be, and I'm not talking about anyone specific, I'm just talking about a generic type situation, right? Where it's like, very good on the back, but their whole round game's not that great. Why not let them have the back and just kind of play that game? Not look to escape necessarily, which is another level of some things. Sometimes the game would be just escape, then give you back again. Then just escape, then give you back again. One thing I did recently at a catch wrestling class, which I think was really great, that at the end, the last round of sparring was just hold your partner down. That's it, no rules. Just hold them down. You can choke them, you can do, like the person holding them down can choke, can finish, can do whatever they want. The person on bottom only goes to get up. And vice versa. So I thought that was powerful because it's just like you are fighting to get up. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's hard and whatever. But also, like if someone's good on the back, sometimes I'd like to sit there and let them have my back, and just not have the sort of oomph to get out. But I'm not getting tapped either. Do you know, in my mind, you might get tapped. I'm not saying you don't get tapped, but do you see where I'm coming from? Like to sit there and let them have your back, and like I don't want to get tapped. Play the game.
I agree with that, because sometimes I like to kind of just suss it out. Like being in a position like that, I like to kind of just, it's kind of like chess. You know, it's like chess. It's kind of, not that I want to get in the habit of waiting for them to make the first move all the time, but with those specific scenarios, specific sparring, I just kind of like to play with it and suss it out and be like, I wonder what they're going to do and how do I react and stuff like that.
But I think it's a good mindset to have, man, because the idea is to get better, right? Because I think there's an element, and I've probably been guilty of this at times, where it's like you come in and all you want to do is win every session. And it's like your progress is limited because you're not trying nothing. You're just like, you're doing what you're good at, and you're picking people that like, they'll give you a hard role, but if you're switched on, you should beat, and they're not going to tap you.
Do you remember the days when you were a white belt? Like, what was it like?
Bro, I ain't that old, bro. Fucking chill out. Fuck's sake. What am I, like 50? I ain't that old, bro. Yes, I remember being a white belt.
So even like going back to white belt, when I think about it, going back to street gym times, all I knew was survive and just, you know, just be in this position here. Boy, white belt was difficult, man. So difficult.
It's funny you say that, and you're new to blue belt, but I actually think looking back, blue belt was a bit harder.
Is it?
Just for the simple reason that there's like a bit of responsibility on you now. You're like, I'm a blue belt. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I can't let the guy who's just come in for 3 months beat me because he's strong and he weighs 20 kilos more. Do you see I'm coming? Where when I was a white belt, there was an element. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, I had an ego and didn't want to get tapped, but there was an element of freedom for me of like, I don't give a fuck, I'm a white belt, right? He's a purple belt, should beat me. Then when I became blue belt, it was like, well, no white belt can ever tap me again, ever, or I'm a fucking disaster. And then it was like, the other blue belts, because blue belt's a funny one too. Like, you could be like blue belt for a long time. So like, if you've just got your blue belt versus someone who's been a blue belt for 3 fucking years, they're essentially a better belt than you, right? But at the same time, you're wearing the same belt. And if the coach is watching, I'd be a bit like, oh, I don't want to get tapped by you. And that I feel like that limited me a bit at that point. Do you know what I mean? Whereas then, I'd roll with, say, a brown belt or a black belt. Yeah. And I'd be like, oh, I don't give a fuck now. I can just train. So I'd probably not do better against them because they're obviously the level's way different. But like, my game would be better against them than it would against another blue belt. Does that make sense? Do you see where I'm coming from? Because I'd be like, well, I can't get tapped by him.
Yeah. It's weird though, because I kind of see it now as, now that I'm a blue belt, for me, it just kind of comes with it now that I'm a blue belt. That I put pressure on, like when I say put pressure on myself, it's not like, I don't know, I'm exhausting myself, but now it's like, cool, I know I'm at this stage now, so I got to prove to myself that I'm worthy of this. So I'm a lot more confident, you know, with my jiu-jitsu. So I'm like, oh, I'm a blue belt, I'm calm now.
Nice, you know? Good.
I'm a lot more confident.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can now have fun with it. Nice. I don't have to like...
But was that because you was a white belt for a long time and you should have been a blue belt before? Was that part of the reason you're like, fucking hell? Because you was like still a white belt, was there an element of, fucking, I can't make a mistake here because I won't get my blue belt? Whereas now you got the blue belt, it's a bit more like... Do you know what I'm saying?
To be fair, I think I kind of, with the white belt, I kind of was a white belt for a long time. So there was a phase that kind of passed, so I'm just like, cool. I might be a white belt forever, and if I am, so what?
Well, the reason I asked, because I can relate a little bit, I was a blue belt for over 5 years, and it was like, I found wrestling in that time, and people used to kind of say I was a wrestler, and I kind of almost, not quite, but I was almost kind of coming to the realization of like, I might just fucking die a blue belt because they don't see me as a jiu-jitsu guy anymore. I'm just double legging people, and I kind of like that used to give me the ump, and I used to be like, fuck, you know, like, but then, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? At the end of the day. I always, because my wrestling coach said, don't worry about it, it's about effectiveness. And I always took that on, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Where it used to hurt me is when I've been a blue belt for years. And you know, people don't do jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Well, what belt are you now? I'm still a blue belt, you know what I mean? It's like,
I'll be honest though, there were times where when I speak to people just out and about in the gym and they're like, oh, how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu? And I'll be like, 3 years, well, coming up to 3 years. And they'll be like, oh, what belt are you? And I'll be like, I'm a white belt. So yeah, there were moments where it did hurt me. It did kind of hurt my ego. But yeah, that time's gone now. You know what's so funny? I was like, in my head, I was like, we only should do this podcast once I'm a blue belt, because you're gonna say to me.
Do you know what, right? There's someone, I won't mention your name, I nearly said the gender, I won't mention your name, but there's someone out there going, I won't come on till I'm a blue belt. And now they're a blue belt. So motherfucker, I'm coming for you as well. But yeah, it's funny you say that, because I've heard that at least twice with different people. I've said, come on a podcast, let's talk. You know, because they do cool stuff and they got a following and whatever. And they're like, yeah. The first one's, yeah, definitely. And then you chase them up on it and it's like, bit busy at the moment, and then you chase them again, and they're like, I don't want to get a blue belt. And you're like, fuck's sake, man, what if you don't get a blue belt?
That is hilarious.
Yeah, but it's a common thing. But also, I feel like you make it more than it is before you're there. You know what I mean? Like for me, as I say, I was a blue belt for a long time. So like, and I was getting that wrestling thing, and I was tapping purple belts in the gym, and it was like, when I got a purple belt, I was like, the sigh of relief I fucking put out was just like massive. I was like, thank fuck for that. Do you know what I mean? Because like, then I've sort of crossed that line. Do you see what I'm coming from? Where it's like, okay, cool, I'm back on the progression route.
Would you say, like, because you already felt like you were a purple belt before you received your purple belt type of thing?
There was a bit of that too, yeah, but it was more like I just didn't want to be a fucking blue belt forever. Do you know what I mean? I'd like, because I know people that, we all do. You know people that have been a blue belt for fucking like 10 years and they're still doing jiu-jitsu and they're still a blue belt. And I was like, I don't want that. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a black belt one day, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was like, I remember when you start jiu-jitsu, you don't want to be a fucking blue belt, right?
Yeah.
You want to go through it, but like
sure.
the idea is to be a black belt one day, right? And
For
I remember
sure.
like what the first ever coach I had was Alex Slater. Shout out Alex Slater, and he said something to me, and I'd probably done about 4 jiu-jitsu sessions, and he was like, "Bing, you need to work on this because this is the progression to blue belt." And he was going on about different things, and then he said like just like off the cuff, he was already a black belt, and he was like off the cuff, he kind of threw like, you know, because one day you want to be a black belt.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, bro needs to chill out a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm like still learning to tie the fucking belt, you know?
That's crazy.
But you know, it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I really think like we all do it, but you shouldn't necessarily get married to the belt. Who gives a fuck? It's about effectiveness. Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
And wrestling really hit that home
Yeah.
for me. Like Lubo, shout out Lubo. I mentioned him fucking probably every episode on here, but he had such an impact on my grappling game because it was like, I was in the gym one day and he's like, he's a 4-time national champion in Bulgaria. Like he's, you know, mad international level wrestler, serious grappler. And like someone tried to give him a blue belt and it was like, bro, fucking blue belt, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, he'll tap every black belt here. Like, what the fuck are you? You know, it was just, like, that's one of the moments, you know, when you go like, come on, what the belts don't mean nothing, do they? You know what I mean? As long as you can do it, you know, it is what it is. Like Reese, when he was a brown belt, he beat a black belt in competition, right? So it's like, hey, who gives, you know, it's effectiveness, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, I think for outside eyes, but they don't count, so fuck them.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's true. I feel like, I don't know about, no, you've probably passed that stage. For me, I feel like also jiu-jitsu is a statement. Like when I'm in the gym.
Are you walking around with like, hey, yeah, how you doing? I'm Jerome and I'm a blue belt.
You know,
Which means I'm better than you.
do you know what I used to? You know what I used to do?
Right.
Early days as a white belt. Not that I even wear tape. But I used to just put tape around my fingers, you know, I'll be on a bus and I'll
use that like holding the thing, like someone's next to you.
Yeah, look at the tape.
Tape on my fingers.
On my way to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I think it's cool to kind of rep what you believe in and what you feel has contributed to your life in a positive way. Because I feel like with this wonderful sport, this wonderful space here, you too can create your own philosophy.
There you go. There you go. You one day can be a blue belt too, like Jerome. You can walk into Pure Gym and puff your chest out. But I feel it. I'm with you. Like I wear this hoodie a lot, like the new school hoodie. Shout out the new school hoodies, the Brixton one and the Cheam one and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Firstly, just because I like it, but
sure.
I was saying this to someone in my class the other day. It's like what comes with that. Also, I've got a fucking cauliflower ear, right? My nose is a bit crooked, right? I get it. But like, what that brings is you get people in gyms, like normal gyms, like in the fucking Nuffield or David Lloyd or whatever, that come up to you and go, hi, you do jiu-jitsu. And like, at first, it's like, yeah, cool, man. But the problem on the flip side of that is like, there was a guy, he was about, I don't know, like, old enough to be my dad, right? You know, older man. And he comes up to me and goes, oh, I used to do karate. And like, when I was 14, and you know when you go, when you're 14, like, what? Like, people were still riding horses when you were 14, you know what I mean? But anyway, but he's like, long story short, he's telling me a story about when he was 14, and he got into a fight with a 16-year-old, and he showed him his karate. And you know when you're going, bro, leave me the fuck alone, right? Bro, I'm a grown man. I don't need to hear a story about you doing karate, you know? And Chael Sonnen had a great quote once, didn't he? He said about a black belt, I think, but I might be butchering it a bit, but he said something about a black belt in karate. He said, I got a free toy in my Happy Meal once too. You know, and I just thought it was a great line. And I nearly busted it on this guy, but I held myself back. He was an older guy, you know. I thought, I'll give him his respect, bless him. But he's like, you know. But that's what it brings, you know. It brings all this, like, oh, I used to do fucking Wing Chun. It's like, maybe I shouldn't wear this hoodie anymore. I'll just go back to a Nike, you know what I'm saying? But watch out for the Squeeze the Neck podcast hoodies, they're coming soon. So we're getting one of them. And the plan with that is to give them to guests with their number on it. So maybe we'll backdate them and we'll get one.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, so take us forward like with jiu-jitsu, blue belt, obviously fresh, paint's not even dry on it yet. But like, where are you jiu-jitsu for life, is what I'm trying to say.
Never say never. I feel like from the energy that Reese gives me, he sees a lot of potential. And he's also allowed me to see potential in myself.
He's a liar though, don't worry about it. No, I'm joking, obviously.
But no, I feel like I'm at a stage where I actually fully believe in my ability. I just need to just be on the mats more And I wanted to, I even said when I was a white belt, I want jiu-jitsu to be the reason that I travel and I compete, go to this country and so forth. And that will be taking place this upcoming year in 2025. And I'm open to what jiu-jitsu will bring for me. I mean, my main focus as of now is more so like my personal training and my online business. But that's not to say I'm gonna put like jiu-jitsu down, because I feel like they all link in ways. So, do I live for jiu-jitsu? Do I see myself as this black belt at a new school, BJJ Brixton?
Get yourself a Portuguese accent, like, you know what I mean?
I'm definitely gonna go Brazil one day for sure.
Oh, you are?
I have to go.
Okay.
But I also want to learn capoeira, and I think, yeah, I'm gonna be that guy, man. I'm gonna piss off a lot of guys in competitions and stuff with my flowy movement. But I see myself doing jiu-jitsu long term. That's all I can say right now.
Nice.
So there's definitely longevity. There's definitely long term here. Yeah, I'm here.
Good.
For a good time and a long
Right,
time.
nice. Well, see, as I said to you, you're a forward thinker, and I can see when I ask you a question, you look around the room and you got all kind of can't not ask you about conspiracies, right? Because the DMs I get about the situation, like I've had like no one comments. It was funny.
Yeah,
I've had people on here talk about conspiracies and go deep, right? And no one comments on it, but they DM me about different things and like trying to educate me and what you don't understand. And
what you or
me?
Or your guest?
Yeah, me. And and then like saying, oh, what the guest doesn't understand is such and such. You know, you're like, whatever, bro. You're cool, man. But you know,
Do you know what you could even do, just as an idea, a suggestion? I've seen it somewhere else. They'll at the end of like the podcast, they'll have like a question for the next person that appears on the podcast. Nah?
Fuck, what are you like a hipster?
But you can relate. No, but you can
I know who
relate
does that. That fucking CEO. What is his name? Diary of a CEO.
Yeah. But you can relate it to conspiracy.
Nah. You can keep your question for the next guest. I'll fucking ask the questions, bro. Okay. Diary of a CEO.
Yeah.
Fan or no?
Not anymore now.
Ooh, not anymore. Why? Context.
Just long and yeah, it's just a bit long. I can't, like, I don't know. I think I'm also a part of this group of people where our concentration's a bit shit. So sometimes when I see even the trailers and stuff, I'm just like, oh, I can't be asked to watch it because it's like there's
a fakeness to him. I find I don't
Is
like.
it?
I find there's something he says regularly, and I go, well, it's obvious why. I'll tell you about this after. But there's something he kind of touches on a lot, and I go, well, I can fix that. Not fix it, but I know what the problem is. Like, but we'll get into that. I won't bring that.
I think what he's doing is interesting. There are a few stuff I follow, but I just kind of lost touch with it now because he's doing. I guess because it probably doesn't relate to like my journey right now because he's doing like maybe a podcast with this person about this topic and that topic, and it's just like I don't know.
Yeah, I got you. Whip him with your rope, bro. He'll be all right.
Yeah, I need like a rope flow podcast. I'll watch that.
Is that right? Rope flow, and if they give the wrong answer, no, had that. But so conspiracies, your eyes lit up when I said conspiracy. It's funny. I might have like a conspiracy radar because sometimes I ask people about conspiracy, you just think, fuck it, throw a curveball, and they go like this. They give that like lean forward, eyes get wider. I'm like, cool. Maybe he knows a thing or two. Are you a conspiracy guy?
I mean, okay, I am into them. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Good. What's your favourite conspiracy? Let's start there. Let's start at the top.
Oh shit, are we really going into it?
Oh, we're going, bro. I want to hear. Man. I want to hear what colour pants JFK was wearing.
Okay. So, I don't know why. I kind of want to touch on COVID, you know.
Oh, no. This is going to fucking tank.
Oh, this is going to kill me.
I'll tell you what, we'll come back to this because this brings the crazies out of the woodwork. Let's go more fun one. Tell me about, like, I don't know, what's a good one? Moon landing.
Do I believe that's, like, real or fake? You know what? I've had a friend that has told me, and I haven't really digested this.
I thought you were going to say you had a friend that told me he went to the moon. I was going to say, get no friends, bro. He ain't been to the fucking moon.
No. But I don't think this is something I can digest. They were like, how they believe that the moon is not real, or the moon, they use the moon to spy on us or whatever. To be fair, I just appreciate the moon for the moon, you know. Do I think people landed on the moon? I will say this, I believe that technology is crazy with all these bloody green screens. So if they use that to kind of say, yeah, there's been people that have landed on the moon, but they've used all of this, then it's likely that could have happened, that they used these green screens. But do I actually believe that people landed on the moon? I don't know. I don't really have an answer. Because I don't know like the process and the technology behind from Earth to
well,
get
apparently
to the...
Russia says they still can't go to the moon. So I have a hard time thinking in 2024 the Russians can't make it, but in 1969, when they barely had cassette players,
I think that's
they could get to the moon.
I think that is a bit weird.
Sounds a bit suspect there, you know?
Yeah. So,
but have you ever heard, you know who Bryce Mitchell is, the UFC fighter? What does that mean?
No. Remember, I don't know anyone.
All right, cool. Well, he's out there. He talks about all kinds. He goes flat Earth. The moon's not even real. It's just a light in the sky. Blah, 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 you know. But he's an interesting one. But if you don't know who he is, you can't really delve too deep into that. Tower 7. Tell me about Tower 7.
Tower 7. I don't know.
Fucking this conspiracy chat's gone crazy. Bro. Fucking hell, I thought you were going to help me.
No. Okay, so I think I probably wouldn't even call it conspiracies, but I guess my mind is just more into like this whole idea of just this idea of control.
Is the Earth flat or round? Oh wow, here we go. Now we're on to something, bro. when you ask someone if the Earth's flat or round and they go, ooh, we might be onto something here.
What if it was neither?
All right, what's the alternative?
Shit though, is the Earth flat or round? Boy, what do you think?
Bro, I ask the questions around here.
Is the Earth flat or round?
I'm going to say no comment, don't know.
No comment, don't
know. No, don't know. No comment. No comment sounds like you're avoiding the question. I don't know. What do I know? I ain't been to space. I have been on a plane though and seen a curvature of the Earth.
Like, how do we actually know?
Yeah.
What are we saying that when we're on a plane we can tell that the Earth is round or?
Well, this is a deeper level of the conspiracy. That's why I said it, because it's like, you know, if you go on a plane, you've been on a plane, right?
Yeah.
You look out the window, you can see a curve. Does that mean the Earth's a sphere? I don't know.
I'll be honest, I never even noticed a curve.
I've been where I was on a flight recently to America,
to
Denver, Colorado, and you can, there's like a big flat land. I don't know, some of the Americans might be able to say which part of the country it was, but anyway, you fly over some stuff where there's just nothing, and you know what it's like when it's a long flight. You're walking by the toilet and doing a few little roundabouts and whatever, and you look out the window, and there, you know, you can see there is a thing. But the conspiracy theorists would go, that doesn't mean the Earth's round, and I guess it doesn't, but you know. What do I know? But I tell you what I like about the flat Earth thing is I love listening to people talk about it. The thing that gets me, and the reason I brought it up, is the Antarctica piece. Have you heard this?
Okay, that I've heard of somewhat. Please tell me.
Here we go.
So from what I've come across, I've kind of heard that. Wait, what have I come across?
FYI, I do think Earth's round before anyone writes me like a crazy person.
What have I come across? So it's very fresh in my mind, but. In reference to that, there is some link between that and the Earth being flat, or that and that being like the end of
what they let you see.
Yeah.
So from what I hear, there's like from what I've heard conspiracy-wise, there's a theory that someone went to Antarctica and went through whatever and found a new civilization the other side.
I've
right?
heard that.
Which I like hearing now. Not that I believe it necessarily, but there's like they're the stories that's what I find fun about conspiracies. You know, when there's like a outrageous but could be somewhat. Do you see where I'm coming from? There's something to it where you go, it's not just going, fucking aliens from a different world and the Earth's flat. Do you know what I'm saying? Because when you get into those kind of people, you go, well, like, even if you're right, I can't listen to you because you're nuts.
Yeah. I'll be honest though, with all of this stuff, because. Okay, so this is sometimes what I think. So let's think of an example like Area 51, which...
There's a good one. That's one I could have brought up.
I guess they say there's aliens there and so forth. I sometimes feel like it's either there actually is that and it exists, or they've created this idea that exists to make people, I guess, a conspiracy theorist or crazy, if that makes sense. So it's like, maybe... someone somewhere has created this, there's an Area 51, and they've kind of played with our minds by giving us two views. They've kind of played with this view, and that has, I guess, made conspiracy theorists, and they've kind of brought up the view of like, it doesn't actually exist. So sometimes I'm kind of like, is it even real? But then again, like, I don't know. Like,
But I tell you
I
what's
get
interesting like
lost
that.
in
I
it
heard
sometimes.
recently that the Area 51 is the cover up for the real place. That's like a conspiracy in a conspiracy.
Yeah, so that's what
so
I'm
like
trying to
they say,
say.
like look over here because this one's kind of
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah,
Like we've got
yeah.
aliens and it's not real.
Yeah.
Whereas the real one's elsewhere, which is really top secret.
Yeah.
Which is the reality. Listen, they want to
Yeah.
keep something secret. They ain't got Area 51,
Yeah.
have they? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they might not have in the 60s or something, but not in
Yeah.
this day and age. Like
Yeah.
we're
But,
too well
all
connected.
right, so let's touch on one more thing, actually. I believe that there is something called predictive programming, which in certain movies, they, I guess, will, I don't know, let's say we're watching a movie and it's very dystopian-like, or there's
They'll
a lot of-
normalise things that are out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I
So
know
when
what
it
you're
comes to it now,
Yeah.
you're kind of like,
You're
oh,
like,
this
yeah,
is
okay,
just
I've seen it
normal,
before. Yeah,
you know?
exactly, yeah.
So I definitely think that is a
They
thing.
was talking about this recently about, I think it was Bryce Mitchell actually, the guy who brought up UFC fight. He was
Yeah.
talking about iRobot, you know, the film with,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Will
yeah.
Smith. He was kind of relating it to that and Elon Musk and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
But I tell you one that I don't believe, but people are big and I can kind of see it, is the simulation theory. You heard this one?
Go on.
Where we're like in the Matrix, where there's like a real, this is not real, we're in like a simulation. Someone's playing the game and we're just like a fucking, I don't know, someone probably watching it going, that's not what it is, but you know what I'm saying, like something along those lines where we're not, this isn't real, this is like a game of something else and whatever.
That one, I get, but I think my mental mind sometimes can't grasp it. But I get it. I think it takes, like, I don't know, I don't want to sound too woo-woo, but I think sometimes,
Too late.
sometimes once you like, okay, this is how I interpret what you're
yeah.
saying, is you have people who attach themselves to like labels and stuff like that, and you have people over here who free themselves from all of these labels and stuff. So I personally feel like those who kind of free themselves from these labels and stuff like that, they can kind of look at the world as like this is very much a system and there's set ways of doing things and there's programs and stuff like that. So that I definitely feel is a thing. It's kind of like school, right? Like when you think of school, they kind of, I guess, the teachers probably don't even know, but it's kind of like a program where you kind of are conditioned to be silent and not speak up. So now when you become an adult now, and you see a hot girl on the road and you're or this or that, you're just kind of timid or you don't want to speak up because you've just been conditioned.
Nah, not me, bro.
Nah?
I'll walk straight over to bring this down. No, it's a joke, obviously. No, but I know what you're saying because I
yeah.
think, but also sometimes I think like, maybe like, you know when people get into all this kind of this is happening, that's happening.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe you're just overthinking. Do you know what I'm
No,
saying?
I feel like that
maybe we're
definitely-
not meant to know. Do you know what I mean? Maybe
yeah.
it's just one of the things. I tell you an interesting one as well, is like what people's opinions is after we die and what happens and all that kind of stuff. Well, tell me yours.
I'll be honest, that one, I've got no bloody...
There you go. See that?
Like-
but I think like a part of it is like, maybe we overthink that. Like,
Yeah.
just live now, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we'll find out one day.
For sure. But speaking of that, have you actually seen the movie Matrix?
No.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Shit, you haven't seen
Never
it?
seen it. No.
Oh, wow, you should watch that.
Yeah, I know. I get that reaction a lot. What? You haven't seen
I'll
it?
be honest, I'm like that whenever I speak to someone who hasn't seen it. I don't know why I think it's like a must that they see. It's like a checklist.
Yeah,
like for you to
Nah,
be a
never seen
human
it.
on this
Never
earth.
seen it. No, never seen it. I've seen Lion King, though.
Like even the thing is, yeah, I guess even if you watch Matrix and you don't agree with it, at least you can tick it off to say that you've. So now when conversations come now,
Nah, I'm just gonna stick to Rocky, bro. Rocky 3 on repeat. What's your favourite Rocky film, by the way? By the way, before you answer, I will judge you as a fucking man on how you answer this question.
judge me by saying I don't really follow.
You've never watched a Rocky film? If you've never watched a Rocky film, there's a wall behind you, headbutt it, you'll be fine. It'll fix you right up.
I'm probably too young to remember certain
No,
parts.
no, listen.
I just remember seeing him running up the stairs.
Yo, Adrian! Listen, comment below what you think of a man who's never seen a Rocky film. And don't hold back. If you've never seen a Rocky film, Jesus Christ, bro. No? What's your favourite film?
Avatar.
Oh, you're one of them. You're the Matrix Avatar guys. You fucking mate. I think
I like
I don't know why I
Avatar.
had him on this podcast. He fucking ruined it. No,
Avatar.
never seen that either.
You've never seen Avatar?
Never seen that. Do you know why? I've
Why?
never seen Matrix and Avatar. You know why? Because
Why?
I'm a grown man. I don't watch that bullshit.
What else is there? I don't know, but I guess besides
Have you seen Gladiator?
the new one or the old
The
one?
old one, the real one.
I can't remember. Look, you haven't.
I might have
seen-
to speak to Reese to take that fucking blue
No,
belt
but
back
you-
off you.
I haven't seen Rocky, and you haven't seen Matrix.
We can see what type of people we are here, right? Let's be honest here. Vote which camp you're in, Matrix and Avatar or Rocky and Gladiator. I mean, let's see what the reaction we get for this one. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a film.
Yeah.
I'll give you a film because it's kind of on the borderline. The reason, I'll tell you what, Men in Black.
Men in Black, yeah.
You see Men in Black?
Yeah.
Because the reason it's on the borderline is because there's a bit of the whole like way out there stuff, but there's also like everyone's seen that, right?
Yeah.
And that's
I feel like there's so many though. I feel like with there being so many new releases, I've kind of forgotten some of the
I've
old
even seen the new Lion King that just came out.
I haven't seen that.
Mufasa, I've seen that.
I've heard
man.
about it.
Now, in fairness, I took my mate's kids to see it, but I wanted to see it, so fuck you. Do you know what I'm
But
saying?
I'll probably watch the new Gladiator.
I'll tell you a good one. You've seen Disney movies, right?
Yeah.
This is how I'm going to judge you.
No,
this is how I'm going to judge you. What's your favourite Disney movie?
It's actually Tarzan.
Why? That's the wrong answer, by the way. Fuck it. You better bring it back on the football question at the end, bro.
Yeah, it's Tarzan.
There's only one answer to that. Come on, bro.
What, Disney movie?
Yeah, come on, bro. There's only one answer. Use your fucking brain. There's only one answer.
What, Lion King?
Lion King. Jesus Christ. Fucking hell.
I love Tarzan. I love Tarzan.
Nah, that's some hipster shit. What year was you born?
96.
Yeah, that might be a bit after. That's like, okay.
No, but I mean, I remember seeing Lion King, but I don't know. I'm a sucker for Tarzan.
Aladdin,
yeah.
Pocahontas.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Beauty and the Beast. All right, these are classic. You're back on the trust tree, bro.
Yeah.
You're back on the firm because for a while there.
However, I would say you probably haven't seen this.
Don't say, if you say Monsters Inc. or Minions, I'm fucking leaving.
Monsters Inc.
I'm leaving. That's it.
No, that was a good movie. That was a good movie. But I was gonna say you probably haven't seen this. The movie Soul.
No, what is
on
that?
Disney.
No. Oh, it's a new one.
Wait, I think it came out during.
What is it about?
Lockdown or just before lockdown.
What is it about?
So in simple.
Because I'm really questioning this rope flow shit now. This is what it does to you. I might have to fucking go back to bench pressing.
Soul, the movie Soul. He's a music teacher. He falls down like
I'm out already, you've lost me. Fuck it, forget it. Forget Soul. You can keep it. I'm going to watch Lion King on repeat. How about that? Forget Soul.
Let's forget Soul. But Soul's a good movie. Go watch Soul.
Yeah, but also if you watch it, don't watch this podcast because you're not on the firm. No, it's a joke. But with jiu-jitsu, with the rope flow, with everything here, and you're moving forward, do you, obviously we've touched on it, helps, one hand washes the other type thing. But are you going to be one of them guys at the competition with the rope out, doing the whole like, look at me? No, you're not. No. Because I think that'd be kind of cool, right?
Don't get me wrong, I've had moments where I've thought about it, but I just like, I don't really want all the attention and it's just not the right place.
I got you.
You know, like everyone's trying to get to the podium or the competition and I'm just there.
Don't talk to me, shut up, don't touch me, I'm rope flowing.
Yeah, I don't
How do you practice your rope flow? So, one thing I was going to ask you earlier, and we kept moving on. How's a week look for you? Training, practice, whatever you want to call it wise. If you go like, let's just say standard week, maybe not necessarily a competition coming up, you're not preparing for anything specific. Like Monday to Sunday, what do you look like? You wake up on a Monday morning, what's your training schedule if you like?
So, training schedule. It's pretty free flow. As of now, however, I would say, in terms of like, let's talk numbers, jiu-jitsu right now per week is probably looking at maybe 3 to 4 times per week. As I'm now working at the gym, doing my personal training, being in that environment, it encourages me to train quite a bit. So I'm balancing that with my jiu-jitsu. So probably doing that 3 times a week. And I guess with my rope flow, the rope flow tends to take place when I'm at the gym and I'm warming up. So that will always like have its place when I'm warming up at the gym as well as like just jumping rope. And in addition to like what I do in the gym, I would like warm up with some ground-based movement that's inspired by like jiu-jitsu and animal flow. And that's, I think, helped me with my jiu-jitsu performance in terms of like my movement, because people say, oh, you move so well, and I think it's just because what I do in jiu-jitsu in terms of like maybe solo drills I do in the gym like all the time as a warm-up. So yeah, pretty simple stuff. So 3 to 4 times a week of jiu-jitsu, 3 sessions of gym. But in terms of like how the sessions at the gym look, I've kind of ditched the chest and arm days and back and biceps, not really into that anymore. I would say my training is pretty functional. There are elements of like, I guess, when I say CrossFit, I would probably say exercises similar to what you'll find in CrossFit.
CrossFit movements, but not
like
the intensity.
the skier, the assault bike, the wall ball, slams. So I like to focus a lot on power, plyometrics, endurance, strength. With the strength and the mobility, I do a lot of those two combined with using kettlebells. And of course, when I say calisthenics, I'm talking like the very basic push-ups and pull-ups, dips.
Do you fuck around with rings at all?
I would, but at my gym we don't have any. I actually personally have some myself, which I took from a gym.
Thief, we've got thief in the ranks.
When it comes to martial arts weapons, because I still have my chucks and my bow staff, I'll be honest that at the moment it is hibernating. It's in hibernation.
Do you carry a knife when you walk down the street? How many people have you stabbed?
Carry my rope.
Is that right?
My rope.
Is that your new thing? Do you wear a cape and all that? You like seem like a cape guy, like with his socks pulled up.
No, but I do have a Spider-Man costume, and one day I'll be doing a reel in my costume and rope. You know, I'll be walking down the street.
Sign me up for that one. But no, I mean, it's interesting listening to you talk about the concept, because a lot of it, I feel like we mindset-wise, we're doing a lot of similar things, right? I think that's the way, because like a lot of people's training, I find, like around jiu-jitsu, they just do bodybuilding training. And I think that's okay for a while, but I think it wears your body down, man.
For sure.
I think over time, that wears you down. Do you know what I mean? Whereas a lot of people go the other way and try and be too functional as well, which in terms of, when I say too functional, I mean specific. Like you see people punching with cables, and it's like, if you're boxing, just box. That's your punch. You know what I mean? I'm not saying don't practice. To me, the best way, I touched on it a bit earlier, to practice how to punch is go and practice how to fucking punch. Do you know what I mean? Don't use a cable. Don't use even a kettlebell. Do you know what I mean? Like kettlebells have got a place. Strength training's got a place. But for me, when you get strong, you should be getting strong for the sake of getting strong. You should be with the rope, using that for the sake of feeling your body. You should be doing whatever you're doing for the sake of that and applying it to jiu-jitsu. Does that make sense? Versus like, you know, when you see people doing these like overly functional bandy stuff, it's bullshit.
Some of, I feel like this, I don't know, there's some people who just do just nonsense in the gym, and just like, it's so unnecessary. Like I've seen guys in the gym, they'll stand on like a 15 kilo, like, you know those small barbells? Like they'll stand on that and do bicep curls.
Yeah, stop it.
What the hell?
Just do bicep curls.
Why?
Yep. Why? But
are you trying to train balance, or are you doing bicep curls? Like,
it's like some hipster shit. I think a lot of that's
weird.
like look at me stuff, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, there was a guy before, I used to go in a gym, just a normal gym, and he used to wear his karate gi with a black belt turned on. And this is a guy who's about 50. Big beer gut. And he's lifting weights, and in between his weights, and anyone who's trained in the gym would know. The gym I'm talking about, you'll know if you know. It's in Wandsworth. We'll leave it there. But he's doing like bicep curls. As I say, big fat belly. He's about 50, and he's got a karate gi on with the black belt tied up. All right, cool, whatever. You're already on, you know, whatever. But he's in between his sets. He's going like in the mirror, you know, 50. You know, you're looking at me, you're going, at what point do we call this a mental illness? Do you know what I mean? At what point do we write you off as a crazy person? But who am I to judge, right? But it was just like, the reason I bring him up is it's like the overly like look at me stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not training for anything specific. He just wants people to look at him. It's the same with the people balancing and doing the bicep curls, right? Just balance or do the bicep curls to me. You know what I mean? But with jiu-jitsu, if you're sparring with, firstly, before I ask that actually, you got like 3-4 sessions a week, you say. What balance you do of gi, no gi?
I'll be honest, right now it's just gi. But if we have the option, I know we've probably had this a while ago, but if we had the option, I would actually take up a wrestling session.
Ooh, well, speak to the man. We might put a wrestling class on, son.
I think that will definitely take my game from here and bring it up. I want to focus a lot more on some standing game. So yeah, a lot of gi at the moment. I do want to do some more no gi.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got you. But the question I was going to ask you before I ask you that is like with jiu-jitsu, with like your other training and stuff, is jiu-jitsu the sort of thing you look at as you want to improve at, or is jiu-jitsu just something you do? Does that make sense with all the other games? Is it more like your business is your priority, or is...
Are you talking about in relation to how I train in the gym?
Yeah.
Or? Funny enough, I would say it definitely plays a big part in how I train. So I simply won't do like chest and triceps because I think how would it support my jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, yeah.
A lot of my sessions do kind of reflect my performance in my jiu-jitsu as well as just like my ability to feel good in my body, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. But yeah, this has been a good one, man. I think we should circle back at some point when I've done more rope flow and I can fling that thing around and I'm sort of blue belt level with the rope. And we should revisit this and we can talk because I'll have more of an understanding. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, I've got a big background in movement, but the rope is something that it's the only thing probably that I'd say that I've looked at and been around for a long time and I haven't done. You know what I'm saying? Like when I saw people, when I had interest in like whatever, I don't know, pick something like backflips and stuff. I sought it out and wanted to learn it quick. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas the rope is kind of one of them things that I always figured I'd get round to. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 years go by. But it's all timing. Like you're here at the right time, and I really enjoyed that session. And like, as I say, I took the rope off you. I've been like flowing it around. It was a rainy day. I was outside doing it in the rain and all sorts. So I'm going to stick with that, mate. But mate, I really appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much. But as I said, we always finish with asking you what football team you support. Tell me.
So, let's make a little story. So, when I was younger, I grew up in an Arsenal household. This is a long time ago. I don't know why I started to follow Chelsea. But there was a. I think that's when Drogba was playing. By the way, I know nothing about football, but there was a period where I was following Chelsea. Drogba was playing, and I used to go around and be like, "Yeah, Chelsea." Da, da, da. But as of now, I don't follow football.
You was doing so well. You had to ruin it with that fucking last bit, bro. You said Chelsea, and I'm all giddy, and then you went, but I don't follow football. Fuck you. How about that? No, you gave a good answer there, mate. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
As I said, this was a fun one, mate, and I'll see you on the mats anyway.
Yes.
I always finish with a fist up like this. Squeeze the neck. Boom, boom.